when he was driving this little dude here.
That Camaro?
Yeah. He says, but we will have the straightaways together, won't we, Floyd? I said, I'm not so goddamn sure of that. He looked. God. How'd they go? Cars used to get beat up, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like it was a piece of aluminum.
No.
I mean, those steel-bodied cars.
I drove that car quite a few times.
The 34 car?
Yeah, I won a race down to, I won a race down to Dempseytown with that race.
Was that right?
100 lap.
Mobilio owned that car?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
They just put him in a nursing home, old Jumpy Joe.
Dale said something about that the other day. Yeah.
You know, he used to drive me crazy. And every year, I'd have to get him he was 80. Oh, he's still alive. I shouldn't use it in the past tense. But 84, 85. Funniest thing that ever happened to me in my life was with him. He had years and years ago, he got in a accident with a race car, and he had one arm that was all twisted up, and years ago he was coming over from Erie to see me for something. I don't remember what it was. He got a hell of a wreck up to Little America in a pickup truck, and they totaled it out and put him in the hospital. Well, they up the old General Hospital on the hill. Well, they called me up. I went up to see him. He says, do me a favor, will you, Floyd? I said, what's that, Joe? He says, tell him to get this goddamn arm out of cast. There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh.
But he was cut up. They thought he'd just done that. They had it all wrapped up.
Oh, I get it.
But Joe he was a good guy. There he is.
He spent some money, didn't he, over the years?
He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of money. He owns 95% of them grape vineyards and stuff out through there, northeast. He sponsors all his nephews and them great big farms and stuff out there. He had one house down there in Ripley. It looks like the Prendergast Library, and lives there by himself.
So Floyd Fanale, superstar.
Yeah.
We're just thrilled you're joining. This fun project for Randy Anderson, Randy Sweeney, and myself to reflect back on the first 10 years of Stateline Speedway. And I'm looking at a program, and it said, there once was a time when you couldn't turn around at Erie's or Stateline without bumping into a Fanale. There were three of them, Bud, Vernon, Floyd, and all three were rated as pretty good hands behind the wheel. Was that in your blood? Was your dad a race guy? How did the Fanales become part of this?
I don't know. I just, I happened to, my brother Bud started it all back in the 40s, 47, I guess. 40, when he come home, when he got discharged from the service, and you ought to seen our first race car. It was we drove a car for a guy, no, he did, a guy by the name of Frank Armstrong. He lived in East Randolph. It was a 32 Chevrolet. Looked like one of them field tractors. Little flat wooden bed on the back of it. And the roll bar was a footboard, or a foot end off of a steel bed. And we used to tow it over to Leon with a rope. With a rope. All the way from East Randolph, we towed over through the back way there. And go up there, come out there, road there up by the cheese factory. And of course it was fun them days. You'd stop and have a picnic along the way. And then we I don't know how we got started.
But your dad, it wasn't a family thing.
My dad monkeyed with cars. He worked for a Nash Motor Company for a while.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. I just had to have something to beat the guy alongside of me. When I got going, I just.
Well, now your brother was the older, Bud, right?
Bud was the oldest, yeah.
And so did you do the building, the mechanicals and stuff?
Later on, I did.
Yeah, and he drove?
And Bud drove, yeah. And then,
That because he was the oldest, or was he,
because he was the oldest, yeah.
was he the meanest?
Yeah, he was kind of goofy. Like the rest, this guy like the rest of us. He was kind of quick-tempered, Bud was.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
Well, that's one thing nice. We've not heard that about you.
Yeah,
At no point have we heard anything we do had a quick temper.
But I used to get pretty hot occasionally.
Talk about Jamestown Speedway. Did you race there?
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was in the 50s, 51 too, in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bud run his little Nash down there a few times, his little roadster, for a guy by the name of Herb Shell out of Bradford. Mm-hmm. You got pictures of that, I think.
I do.
Yeah. And then we said, Bud run all over the country. Bud run with some pretty good, but people that got some pretty good credentials. Like he run with Andretti's and them guys down in Reading and them years ago, and when they were just getting started.
Right.
And we run up in the Canada area, and he run along quite a lot of races, Bud did.
Well, was the economics such that you guys would actually make a buck or two on weekends?
No, there wasn't no money.
Just a hobby.
We just had to be the sport. And, we had a little the race car. The first race car we built as kids was a little 32 Plymouth Coupe. And them days you just cut the top off and took the fenders off. We got lucky with this car we had. It was a 4-cylinder floating power. Did you ever see one? Look down in the hood, there's a little motor about that big, and it's just all over the place. They call it floating power. You didn't look like I was going to jump out of the car any second. But anyway, we took that out, and my dad, being associated with Nash, found us a Nash, complete Nash engine, double ignition 6. And we put that in the car. Talking about finances, we didn't have a nickel. The guy across the street from us there on Berta Street in Celeron worked for, he was the town constable, and he liked to help us out because he knew where we were at all the time. But he worked down the Jamestown Worsted Mills, and somebody else give us a Chrysler overdrive transmission. Al Darling made us a dog clutch because we didn't have enough money to buy a clutch. So he built us this dog clutch, and then we didn't know anything about gear ratio or anything about setting up a race car or nothing. We didn't. Nobody did. And we had this little 4-cylinder rear end in this car, Model A wheels, wire spoke wheels. I got some pictures of it someplace. Oh, you got some with the old Leon racetrack. Yeah. But it run like hell. And if you wanted to run a half mile, all you did was shift it into overdrive. And with that 4-cylinder, just like payday every Sunday, we never won a lot of races, but we always second. It'd be like payday every Sunday with $75 is what we made at the Leon there. And a couple times I remember we towed to Meadville Fairgrounds there a few times, and we went to I think Union City a couple times. We towed it all over with ropes, chain. We didn't have no. I told you the story about Pete Cusimano peeing on the fuel pump.
Go ahead. Let's hear it. No. Hey, this is racers.
Anyway, you had an old, I'm quite sure 38 or 39 Cadillac that he used to tow with, and they had that big old Buick Roadster that Carl used to run Pentagro, and Bud run a little coupe, chopped and channeled coupe, Ford coupe at the time, and we were towing to Meadville. And like I say, we towed with a chain, and it was a hot summer day, and that old Cadillac would vapor lock every 15 minutes. And anyway, I'm sure we're over the hoop-de-doos. They're probably on 277 going to Meadville that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we get on top of the hill and the damn thing with vapor lock, so you get out and pour some water. Well, we run out of water about halfway. so big. So I gets peas on the fuel pump, made it all the way to Meadville.
Love it. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Some things money can't buy stuff like that.
And the necessity of the mother of invention.
Yep. But, I'll never forget that had that old Nash. One time we were down there, and it started running a little funny. Never had any problem. We had water pipe for an exhaust system on it. It just come out through the hood. We'd welded up some water pipe. We used to put tennis balls in it so the cold air didn't get back in and warp the valves when you shut it off. And it just sounded like a tractor, but anyway, those shoot flames out of it about like that, nice big blue flames. It was a beautiful deal. We thought at the time. And it developed a miss. Bud was leading the race. He developed a miss. And right after the race was over, of course, he dropped back a few minutes. And there were no race car tires or nothing, you rung what you brung. And when we got back in, there's a hole in the side of the block about that big around. That old car was still going. But that put an end to our Nash.
Now, did Bud, did he work his way did he race at Skyline?
Bud, we run up there a couple times in 55, yeah,
Right.
50, yeah.
What was the draw? The Lloyd Williamses, the Leonard Briggs, then decide to create this Stateline Speedway. How did they convince a guy like Bud Fanale and crew to come to Stateline?
Through general knowledge and knowing. I think we knew Lloyd Williams more, and I hadn't. I knew Leonard and I knew Jerry and them, but I didn't know him that well. Mm-hmm. And and we knew Cliff Coons, so they had Skyline. Mm-hmm. And guys like Joe Saunders, people forgot him.
Yeah.
And well, we just all of a sudden decided to go over there and race for Briggs. He paid more money.
Floyd, did Jerry and Leonard and Don and Marv Thorpe and Lloyd Williams, did those 5 guys own part of Skyline? Or did they work for Coons? Or how did...
Leonard and Cliff Coons were partners in Skyline.
Oh, Leonard and Cliff were partners?
Yeah, they were partners at one time there, from what I understand.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then Leonard, for some reason, got mad at Cliff and said, "To heck with you, I'm building my own," or
didn't like the way they done business or something. I don't really know. I never got into that with them, but
so the other 4 guys weren't part of Skyline,
no,
as far as you know.
No, as far as I know, they weren't.
Okay.
Lloyd, Marv is the one who went to New York City. Marv and Lloyd went to New York City and bought this piece of land from some old woman down there in New York City. I don't know who it was. That's all I remember of it.
Okay.
I didn't think it was any of my business, or they told me.
Right.
No, but you're absolutely right. We have a copy of the deed.
That's the way the story went. You got it, Floyd.
But that's just what I know about that. It was.
What was the reputation when Bud started driving in 1956 up there at Stateline? What was the reputation of the track? Was it ready to go? Was it?
There wasn't nothing there.
Yeah.
We'd go up and work by hand with shovels and stuff, especially up there in 3 and 4. There was a spring up there, and we'd end up digging that up every 2 or 3 weeks and putting gravel in there by hand now.
Yeah.
And my wife used to get so mad. We went up and built a guy by the name of Tom Blodgett. He used to work for the light company. And myself and Bud and a bunch of other guys go up, and we'd put the lights up and stuff when they build it. And we worked like hell to get that track going.
Yeah.
And all of us, everybody. It was
all the drivers kind of pitched in and helped out.
It was kind of an effort. Yeah. Snarzy, everybody chipped in and done something.
Yeah.
And made a hell of a racetrack out of it.
And obviously a hell of a racetrack with a lot of interesting drivers at the time. And I don't know if you have your little book of race
I do. It's right here, Floyd.
Yeah, what we're going to do is which is what we did with Sammy last night. He's got these interesting pictures of the drivers, and Sammy went through and kind of talked about each of them. And so let's do that.
Well, a bunch of outlaws. And,
So why don't you just go start the beginning and maybe a little vignette on these guys.
Who's on the end?
God, I haven't seen that picture in years.
Who's on the end? Oh, you! Well, tell us something about Floyd Fanale as a race car driver.
You got to watch him. There's old Blackie. He's a good. Oh, Floyd Thomas. I remember him very well.
What was he like?
Awful nice man.
Was he?
Yeah, he was an awful nice man.
What did he do for a living, Floyd?
He had Thomas's Texaco station in Westfield.
Okay.
Whitehead. He's a hammer man.
Which for to the lay person who's watching it, what's a hammer? What's that really mean?
He's still there hammering away.
Okay. Oh, I see. I see.
Ditch. He was a funny story about Ditch.
Yep.
Years and years ago, we ran out to Pennyworld. And like I say, we had the roadsters with the tops cut off, no roll bars, no nothing. But he had this is what my memory tells me, I could be wrong. He had a picture of a bare naked woman on the hood of his car. And there was no bleachers to speak of at Leon. Everybody sat out in the field. And if you could see through the dust, you could watch a race. I don't know. I remember that. But anyway, if he didn't roll that car over, never stood on end right in front of the front straightaway, right in front of where all the people, and it rolled up on the side, and that bare naked woman's looking out at all the people out there. I remember that. And Stanley, very close friend, good guy.
Did you really call him Stanley?
Well, that's what his name is.
Well, I understand, yes. Did he have any reaction to that? He
No,
just accepted it?
no. Lola, his wife, was a nice, beautiful girl.
Yeah, all right.
And yeah, he's a good guy. Never had no problem with Stanley. We raced together a lot. And Chucky, I don't know what become of Chucky Piazza. I haven't seen him. I don't think I've seen Chuck in 20 years. I guess he comes back here from what I hear. God's gift to the world here, Freddie Knapp.
In what sense was he God's gift? It was he a ladies' man?
He always thought he was. Paul Wilson. What a shame.
Yeah.
What a
What do
shame.
you mean? What do you mean it's
God,
a
that
shame?
damn booze killed him. What a shame. Good. Before he got into that, he was the nicest guy.
Yep.
That idiot there, Tommy Dill.
Tell me about Tommy Dill.
He's nuts. Look at it. You can tell by looking at him. I hope he's listening.
Well, at some point he will.
Good, very close friend.
Yeah.
Very close.
Says-
Jimmy Scott, Snarzy, and I are good friends. Karmasowski, he was a nice guy. Oh, they're in Rogues Gallery, I'll tell you that.
Did you find, Floyd, as you were driving, I guess you started driving in '59? Was that about?
Yeah, yeah,
Sounds about right.
58, 58, in that area.
Did you, was there a guy or two that when you were circling around, you really just didn't want to go one-on-one with because who didn't mind bumping you around or just kind of?
It was really a contact sport in them days.
Yeah.
I remember there was one guy when nobody had forgotten him too. There's a lot of guys out there everybody forgot about. He was a nice guy. But I remember the first time I run into him on a racetrack, I said, holy Christ, what a mean-looking son of a bitch that guy is. Gil Lathrop.
Yeah.
Kane.
Yeah. He had that great big old 55 Packard.
Yeah.
And he had a beard. And I thought, oh, holy smokes, I don't want to get next to that guy. You know? And there's a lot of guys. I like Joe Saunders.
Yeah.
Joe Saunders, if there was that much room between two cars, he'd try to get in there. He lost his sponsor and they owned a junkyard. Really, that's true. Ask your dad, Randy.
I know it's true, but I never heard it put like that before.
Yeah, Joe, my buddy Joe. Him and I were so close. He used to stop at the garage on Washington Street, give him my orders for the day every day, and then he'd go to work. Okay. What a beautiful guy he was. I haven't seen him. Has anybody got any pictures of him?
Oh, sure.
I'd like to see one on the wall down there to that Sugar Shack. If you got,
Sure.
if you got one. Another guy that everybody forgot. Old Ted Chamberlain. Must be on.
Talk about Ted.
Teddy was little cigar Jew and rascal. He was ahead of his time. Remember when he invented the space shoes, magnetic shoes?
No.
Remember that?
No, tell us about that, Floyd.
Well, nobody told him, but these were all made of magnesium. These spaceships and stuff are made of magnesium. Well, he hadn't gotten that far yet. This was back in the 50s, 60s. He invented a pair of space shoes. You could walk in space. You move your head this way, you can lift this foot, move your head.
What the heck?
You didn't know that?
No.
Ask your dad about it. Yeah, but, Teddy, he was a super guy. He was a very close friend of the Pettys and the Bakers, and he's one of the original NASCAR founders. Mm-hmm. And one time I was with him down to Watkins Glen back in '63, I think it was, when the older retired guys like Buck Baker and Lee were running this. They had a class of their own there. They were running for a while, and they were running down to Watkins Glen. And I went down there with Ted, and Buck Baker and Petty were coming down through the chicane there on the front straightaway, and they were walking over through there, and they spotted that old guy. Man, they locked him right up, and they got out of the car, and they're hugging this old guy, and we had a hell of a good time there for a couple of days. And they really thought the world of Ted.
Yeah.
Here's your old pal.
There he is. There he is.
There he is again.
Yeah, that's him. God, I'd like to see a picture of him.
I'll give you a copy, Floyd. Don't worry about it.
Okay. He was a good friend. I'll take care of that, Floyd. You miserable son of a bitch, you get us all in trouble. Never mind, you'll take care of it. He was mean for the junkyard.
Joe was a mean man?
Oh, God.
I didn't know that.
Don't get him going.
Really?
If he was out drinking or something, he didn't take nothing from nobody. Well, look at the size of him.
Yeah, well, I just remember he had huge arms.
Yeah, oh, God, he's crazy. He looked like Curtis Turner coming off the goddamn turn of Daytona Beach. Arms that big around. Of course, we all did in them days. Little Mo.
Oh, Marv Thorpe, yeah.
Oh, he got some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that, Hyle Russell. He's going to call me, but he won't spend a dime. He won't. He's still alive.
Hyle?
Yeah.
No, Hyle passed on.
Eddie Kisco. Eddie Kisco down at Kane.
Yeah, we went and saw him 2 weeks ago.
Oh, did you? How's he?
Not bad.
Oh, that's good.
Not bad.
Yeah, well, I got a guy that, that's my buddy. I feel so bad about him. I feel so bad about him. Al Stearns, I forgot about him myself.
What do you know about Dean Layfield?
Awful nice man. I was closer to Billy than I was Dean. I never. I stayed with him a couple of times. Stayed at his house when we went racing down there a couple of times. Down him and Alice, and they're nice people. I won that first Dean Layfield Memorial. I won, and I don't know what always made me mad, stuck in my craw about that. I never got a trophy for. I got the trophy, but I had to give it back.
Well, you didn't get to keep it.
No, the only one that get to keep it was Polero. He said, I'm not giving it back. He still got it. He said, the hell with it.
We probably didn't have too many chances to win, did we?
No. Took him 25 years to win his first one. Jimmy's, I seen him the other night.
Hey, tell us about this guy here. This guy here, this Jim Patrick character. What do you know about him?
Jim Patrick?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never known him that well.
Okay.
And I knew he always had a nice little car and kept it nice. He's a very clean race car driver. I don't think he ever hurt anybody. And
Floyd, I want to go back just to Dean Layfield for a second, because in our era, when we were kids in the stands, and some of the people they talked about Dean Layfield as sort of on a different level of abilities. And was that your sense among the drivers? Was Dean Layfield right at the top during his short period at Stateline, or what was it that made us think the name Dean Layfield all the time?
he set up a style of racing, driving that outlived him, or he outlived.
Okay.
Up there, then it came back again later on. Well, he's throwing dirt over the fence, there's somebody underneath and going by him. And this is what, he was a hell of a showman.
Oh.
And he'd get junk to go where he wanted it to. He was a hell of a race car driver. And some of that stuff you wouldn't even get in driving down the street, let alone driving around a racetrack. I'm telling you, Billy, my God, he'd run the most cobbled up junk you ever seen in all your life, but he'd make it win. Matter of fact, the year he died here a couple of years ago, he'd won the championship down to Keene, I guess, or Smithport or somewhere. And they never had a lot of money. They just made do with what they got. Awful nice people.
So you talk about the style of Dean Layfield. Could you explain that a little bit more? What was unique about his driving style?
Yeah, he didn't know how to get out of the gas, for one thing. And and you can't do that, you know. And sooner or later, somebody's going to slow down and set the car up and go underneath you. This is what I learned from Boosink there. Boosink taught me quite a lot about driving a race car when I went to work for Julian. If you slow down, you'll go a lot faster. And that's true. Sometimes the last time, 3 years ago, when I had my old race car on the racetrack up here, I had a hell of a time getting it hooked up. I hadn't been in the car in 6, 7 years, probably 5, 6 years. I kept telling him, "You dumbass, slow down, you'll go faster," and that's very true.
Yeah.
A lot of guys overdrive the car. Not that I'm a professional at it, don't get me wrong, but Dean, he had his own style of driving a race car.
Yeah.
And that's what made him, people loved him.
What was unique about Squirt? Won a lot of early races. Well, just won a lot of races, but did he have a style unto himself too?
No, Squirt, they just was ahead of the rest of them, you know. And we didn't know what tire stagger was. We didn't know anything about what we do. Just kids coming out of the field and getting in the car and going racing. We had no idea what we were doing. And it's like these Grand National cars nowadays, with that Winston Cup cars they call them. I don't even watch them. They're jelly bean cars. They're all alike, only they're different colors. The only difference. And I don't know.
So what else do you think that Squirt knew that put him ahead of the game? You mentioned tire stagger.
He knew how to slow down and get through the corners and without destroying the car. And there again, like I say, Dean's up here throwing dirt over the fence and Squirt's down here going by him.
Yeah.
Squirt was quite many years ahead of us when it comes to driving them race cars. But it don't take long for kids to catch up. And you take these kids up here now, there's some hell of good race car drivers up there now. Like them little lob boys, boy, I'll tell you, Scardy Gurdak. He's Anybody could ever control him, he'd be the best race car in the world. He gets in the car and he goes like this. I love it though, I really do. He's a good driver. I used to be his hero, now he's mine.
Among the teams, you know, you were working with your brother, and then of course you had your own car. Did you guys talk among the drivers as to trying to get if you had a question, you're trying to get a little bit of technique?
Well, yeah, it was a lot closer then. And like I say, we'd borrow parts back and forth. If you lost a transmission or somebody come out of the grandstand, go take one out of my car. You know, many times we go out in the parking lots, take somebody's transmission out or rear end out. Or this guy had an engine to borrow or steering parts. Steering parts were quite a factor in them days because they weren't spindles and steering arms and tie rod ends. We'd break a lot of that stuff.
Right.
And everybody shared everything they had. Most people did anyway, from what I remember back in them days. There's a few guys that you knew carried that stuff, and that's why they did it.
Right.
And there were some pretty damn nice people.
Bobby Schnars, as far as he also won an awful lot of races. What was unique about Bobby? Maybe was as he was building his car that made it a little bit different, gave him an edge.
Besides being a hell of a nice race car driver, nice guy, Bobby had a good pit crew, and that's what it takes. One guy like myself can't do it anymore.
Right. And
you can be competitive up to a point. And then, but then it's time. I used to get later on in years, I done all the work on the car. Told the car to racetrack, get in and drive it. Some 18-year-old kid come up, get out of a nice fresh car, get in that car, and just run my wheels off of me because he's fresh. And
Who were the guys that used to help Bobby that you admired as being a pretty sharp pit crew?
All of them, them guys were good. Like
Which guys?
Frost and Fosberg and Punky Van Gelder and Tony White and them guys. They were all good pit crew. They were good. They all stuck together and they all worked very hard. And they done a hell of a job.
what about the Ruhlman? Frank Ruhlman at one point had 3 cars. You know, he had Kisco, Russell, and Ronnie. What was unique about? I mean, I can't even envision putting 3 cars out there every week. And
Frank Roman was smarter than all of us put together. He came up power per weight ratio. Weight is horsepower. He gutted them things out to nothing clear back in them days. I would just cut them from behind the back seat and the driver's seat and put the tin over them, you know. And it was just a shell running around there. The rest of us got great big old heavy old cars, 9,000 horsepower, and he'd go right on by us. He used his knowledge to beat us. And he was a nice man. Nice man.
Which begs the question, didn't you guys also then start doing the same thing to your cars?
After a while we did. There was a time there, but we didn't do that. He was ahead of us in that factor.
I see.
55, 56 in that area. He did that. And
how do you suppose he knew that, Floyd? Had he been involved in racing somewhere else before he got to the state line, or?
I don't know, but he was one. Besides being a good builder, he could pick people. He knew what. He was. Frank Romo was a pretty smart old guy.
I think I've got a pic. Hey, there's your buddy. There's your buddy Lathrop right there.
Oh, there's it. I'll be damned. Look at the size of him.
Yeah, he's a big old drink of water, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I gotta see if I can find that picture of Frank Roman. See if you got any more good tales about him. Oh, we'll show your
Bud,
buddy,
Bud.
your brother Bud.
Another Bud.
Yeah, good picture of him.
Russell.
Where's that picture? Oh. Gotta make sure we ask him about this character here. Let's put my finger in that place so we come back to him.
Oh, Marty.
All right. While we got this, why do you have a helmet on it that says Frank when it's clearly Floyd Fanale?
That was Frank Roman's helmet. or Frank, not Frank, or Frank Lefner's helmet. Remember
Frank Lifner's helmet.
Yeah, that was
so
Frank.
why are you wearing Frank Lifner's helmet?
That's the only one we had. We had 2 cars.
You shared it?
We shared the helmet.
There's it.
I don't know what we.
There's Heidi. Surprise.
There's old Frank Roman.
You can throw me out anytime. Yeah, that's Frank. Yeah, yeah, that was. You're a very intelligent man. That's what the whole secret was, and it still is.
Yeah, it still is.
It still is. And,
Were there any rules, Floyd, about the weight of the cars back then? There weren't scales. At
no,
the
they
track,
didn't have.
weren't there?
No, we didn't have any idea what is what.
Didn't matter.
No, didn't. They just rung what you brung.
Okay.
And up to a point, you could go wild, radical. You know, they went.
I don't know which car. What you're looking for? But okay, go ahead.
I'm looking for these 2 guys right here.
Yeah.
Come on. You can't just laugh and then not tell a story. Jug Pierce.
I could tell you a million about him.
Just pick out one.
Because we've heard a few. You'll be.
Candid. Yeah. Him and I were close. He's a beauty, old Jug. He's been dry. He's dried up, I guess. We haven't had a drink in a long, long time.
Really?
I'm proud of him. Remember one time down on Washington Street, I had John Gren for a sponsor, brought 4 cases of beer for each racetrack. And I always had a refrigerator full of Michelob. Jug was home. Come down, he was, that's when he was there in both with both feet. And he was staying out back in the garage or something out back in the field. I don't really remember really. But, he said, "Can I have a beer?" And I said, "Yeah." The next time I was busy doing something, I looked, here he goes out the back door. Backyard, but got a case on the got a beer. I give it to him.
He wasn't giving the refrigerator.
I would put a goddamn beer back.
How about old Kenny Johnson? He was a friend of yours, right?
Very close friend. Yep. Kenneth. We roller skated together a lot.
Floyd, Kenny's dad, Gust, lived up on the same street
right around
you live in now, right?
Right around the corner on Cowden, yeah.
Okay.
And Kenny's first race car was a little Hudson coupe, terraplane, little coupe. We went to, that had to be in 1948, 49. The old man had a new Hudson, 4-door, Commodore 8, water injected, or alcohol, water injected. They had water somewhere. We went to, out there underneath Father Baker Bridge. There used to be a junkyard under there in Buffalo. We went one day to get bought that car out of a junkyard out there. And we towed that all the way from that junk, cold, nasty day in the fall. I remember it started snowing in Silver Creek, or Irving, when it started snowing. We're taking turns steering this car on a rope, colder than and we got it up to, he lived around, like I say, right around the corner there. Got it up on Cowden after about 4 or 5 hours on the road, and we're freezing to death. And this old lady was something else, that old lady. Mrs. Johnson. He wanted to go get us some hot chocolate. Let them get their own, he says. I said, this is enough for me. I'm going home. But, that was Kenny's first race car. He was a good guy. Kenny was a nice guy. Hell of a roller skater. He used to roller skate on stilts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's a talent. When I think of Floyd Fanale, I think of car number 97. Where did 97 come from?
That was the days going back to Leon with that old country western song, "A Record of 97." Mm-hmm. That's where that number came from.
Was that your brother's?
That was Bud's, yeah. And then he got to running roadsters for this guy from Herb Shell, and he captured the number 31. And then when we had
then you took over 97.
Yeah. Then when I had 2 cars, he drove 98. And
So you wouldn't give his number back?
yeah, I told him to get out of that. Yeah, otherwise he'd probably give me a slap beside the head. That was Shorty Rollins' old car, the one they did, that car.
You bought that car from Shorty Rollins?
No, I bought it from a guy in, his name was Alvin Grissmacher. Sergeant Detectives in Buffalo.
He had another name though, didn't he?
Al White.
Al White.
Yeah.
That's who you're telling me
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Al White.
Yeah, they finally deported him. They really did. They really did.
Kicked him out of the country?
Oh yeah. He owned a Gold Cross ambulance in Buffalo and was sergeant of detectives there in Buffalo. And he was worse than the guy they were chasing. But he was I went down to TNT's one. Me and if I remember right, little Shorty went to Russ Lapika.
Yeah, Shorty
He would
Lapika.
just come every Wednesday night. We'd go down to TNT's and have chicken wings and a couple of beers. And one night we're sitting in there watching television, and Dave Hansen, remember Dave Hansen? Dave went with me when I picked this car up out in Buffalo. And we're sitting there watching television. God, I know that guy. God, that guy looks familiar. Dave, who is that guy? That's Al White. He's going down the courtroom in the aisle, going down the aisle. He's got leg irons on. That's the first time I knew his name was Grissmacher. He'd stole $250,000 worth of dope out of the evidence room.
Oh my God.
Replaced it with sugar or something. I don't know what he did.
That would do it.
And they've done away with him.
Your paths crossed with Julian Busing. And
Yeah.
as I recall, you kind of drove Chevys for an awful long time, and then you got connect with Julian. How did you do that?
I don't know. I got Gene Busek and I were very close.
That's his brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, well, we have been. And I just kept teasing him about get them kids out of that car and put a man in there and win some races. And, that's not big. So one, he had Blackmer was driving it. This car, and he set it up on the rails on the back straightaway. He had that little 25-gallon drum he used to cut off and put in his race cars for a seat. Ronnie did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a little 25-gallon drum. He made a seat out of a 25-gallon drum. And I said, get that thing out. I told Gene one time, if you got that thing out there and put a seat in there, I might drive it for you. And I had my own car, brand new. I was beating this car regular. And I knew that didn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I told him, get that seat out of there. But like I say, put a man in there, we'll come up the following week, and Louis Spoon come over. Remember Louis? Mm-hmm. Got a seat in there, Floyd, see if it fits you. It was a 50-lap race, I guess. I don't remember. But he said it for himself. He was about the same height as I was. I got in the car and won the race. And
I think that's true. I think the first time Floyd ever sat in Busing's car, he won the race.
Yeah. Then we went. That was a hell of a car. It was a hell of a car. You just had to know how to handle it. There was a lot of horsepower. That was a home in the Moody Tunnel port that was in that car. And that thing put out about 700 horsepower.
It says here, Floyd, that you pulled off one of the most unusual feats of your career in 1965 when you won 2 features in the same month. Normally it wouldn't be so unusual, but he did it in 2 different cars. First in your own, and then in Julian's Ford.
Yeah, that was, I had a good little car. My little Chevy was a good car. That was the,
That car. There's your
Yeah, that one there.
65.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good car. Had a 409 in that car. It was good. Well, Johnny Markham used to go crazy when that was new. I had. There was another nice guy, that Johnny Markham. He was.
You and Busing did some traveling with that Ford too.
Oh,
didn't you?
we went all over with this thing. We had a lot of fun with it. And
Did you ever go down to Daytona at all?
yeah, I went with Julian a couple of times. Went down to the old racetrack once, the Newark racetrack a couple of times. And,
Were you part of that group that did the 500, Daytona 500? I know Kenny did, and
yeah,
were you ever involved in everything?
yeah, I was with Julian. I didn't like that fantastic speed.
Yeah.
Car didn't feel good.
Yeah.
That year I went, Jack Shanklin said they'd, I'll show you how to do it. He went out and got the car qualified. 2 laps into the feature, he wrecked it.
I heard that story.
Yeah.
He was bad news, that guy. But a hell of a race car driver.
So you did the ARCA circuit for a while, didn't you?
Yeah. I run a lot of ARCA races. That was, I started to tell you about old Ted Chamberlain, and reminds me, he got a hold one time back in 1956. Yeah, 56. No, it had to be 50. When Jimmy Farding had the gas station in Asheville. 58, I think. He needed money to get he had a 56 Chevy convertible. He needed money to get it to Daytona. Called Bill France, was on an airplane in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when he got a hold of him. Somehow, I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
Ted was something else. Sent him $300 to get the car ready to go to Daytona.
Wow.
And we took it down. I helped him get the car down there, and he took it down to Smokey Unick's garage. Worked down at Smokey, out back now.
Yeah.
Smokey wouldn't let him in the garage. But he loved old Ted too. And that's how close he was to them people.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty hard enough. If you reflect back, Floyd, and if I were to ask you the question saying, Greg says, the funniest thing that I remember seeing at Stateline Speedway, which I either was a part of or I saw, what would you say?
Funniest thing.
Craziest thing. Most bizarre thing.
I don't know about Stateline, but I can tell you a couple about Erie.
Sure, go ahead.
The funniest thing that ever happened to me was in Erie, and I can't think of anything funny that happened on Stateline. Billy Van Epps was a trooper, state trooper. He used to go with me to Erie. He'd drive the tow truck or whatever, and one night he came to me, and one afternoon he says, I can't drive the truck out. He said, I'll meet you out there, and I'll ride back with you. And that's okay. So yeah, they had a skydive. He was a skydiver too. They had a deal where they was going to jump out of the airplane, land in the infield, and whatever turns you on. So, anyway, to get up in the airplane, Billy and a couple other skydivers, and it's raining and snowing or blowing like crazy. And a guy by the name of I think Bob Bross. This had to be in 1972. He just bought a new Ford pickup truck. Had the sun visor on it, and the chrome mirrors, and all the fancy stuff on the running boards. Bronze, beautiful truck. I remember that. He used to go with Tom Dill. When he drove the truck from the dealership over to the racetrack, and he hit it way down behind the concession stand, down to where the hot dog stand was. So nothing would happen to it. So anyway, Van Epps and these 3 guys are up in this airplane, and when it starts to rain out, well, you guys have been there, the wind comes right off the lake, and the other 2 guys didn't jump out of the plane. They were smarter than that. Van Epps said, what the heck? Billy jumps out of the airplane, comes down, nowhere near the infield. He hits this truck down behind the car, tears the sun visor off it, rips the mirrors off it. No. The truck only had about 30 miles on it. And so anyway, we're looking to see whose truck it was, and we get up in the grandstand, and there's this Bob's truck. What the hell was his name? Good carburetor, man. So anyway, we find the guy, and Billy and I and him are walking down through the pits, going down to his truck, see how much damage, and he's saying to himself, I don't believe it. God damn it, I don't believe it. He's shaking his head again. He's completely out of himself. And he says, here, I bought that truck. I saved all my life to buy that truck. And some asshole falls out of the sky and he says, Billy says, there, I was going to pay for it right up until you called me that. Now you go to hell. So I thought that was funny.
That is funny, really funny.
That's a good story, Floyd.
Who would have guessed
That's
that?
going to make the cut. Floyd, when you and your two brothers were all racing at the same time, or maybe just when you and Bud were racing at the same time, did you ever employ team tactics? Did you ever
No.
tag team?
No. Bud was always glad to see me win. He was happier than I was when I won.
Okay.
And he was a hell of a big brother. I went one night when I was driving that car for a raid there. Geez, I hated that car. But it was a hell of a car. Just wouldn't stay together. And that was the car I led every race I think I was ever in. It was a 25-lap race, the damn thing would break on the 24th lap. If it was a 50-lap break, it'd break back. Anyway, I wrecked it at Stateline. I couldn't find any parts for it, and I was leading the points. I had to get to Erie. Well, you could steer it about maybe 2 or 3 inches to the left. And I went out there, and Bud was with me. You can't drive that car. I know, I got to make a lap anyway. Anyway, I made a couple laps. I found a place to go with it up on top of the racetrack. Damn if I didn't run a feature. The only one I ever won it. The steering wheel was so bent up so bad I couldn't do nothing with it. And I never seen anybody so happy in my life as he was.
Yeah. That's great.
Never. It shouldn't happen. But that's the kind of guy Bud was. And I felt the same way about him. A lot of times we'd come across the finish line together. We never. Matter of fact, they wrote one article about that somewhere. And Bud was a hell of a sprint car driver. Vern was pretty good. Vern wouldn't spend any money.
Stay at it as long as you guys did, but
He wouldn't spend any money.
tell us your recollections of Leonard Briggs.
Leonard and I were pretty darn good friends through the years after, and I never had any disagreements with any of them. Leonard would, if you ever need anything, Leonard would be the first one there. And the same way with Jerry and old Lloyd and Marv. All of us were, as far as I was concerned, we were very close. And Lloyd Williams left a Cadillac down in my garage one time on Clinton Street, or Monroe Street. I had a little body shop on Monroe Street. Left it across the street, left the keys in it. Come to get it in the morning, it was gone. Somebody stole his Cadillac. What the hell did you leave the keys in it for?
Yeah.
Anyway, we all laughed over that for years.
That's pretty rare that you said that you and Leonard, got along all that time, because usually, as you know, Floyd, when you're a race car driver, at some point you're going to be upset with that track owner.
Never was. Never was. I'm sure there were times when I probably maybe was. I don't remember. But Jerry and Jan and my Jan, we used to go together after the races, and in the wintertime we'd go to dinner and stuff like that. My babysitter Chubb's the same age as my older daughter, and I lived down in Cottage Park there. My babysitter would babysit Chubb and my daughter, and we'd all four of us go out. A few times we did that, and no, I never had any bad feelings for him.
Did you find at the end of a race that you guys are pulling into the pits after maybe a hard-fought feature that maybe tempers got a little flared? Did that happen?
Oh, there was more fights in the pay line than there was ever on the racetrack.
Yeah, is that right?
That's one smart thing they did. They put the money in an envelope and give it to you, send it to you, or whatever. But there was an awful lot of fights in the pay line. Everybody wanted to argue, and I remember one time I was arguing with somebody, and Dick, what the hell's his name? Gilbert.
Oh, yeah.
Said something to me, and I don't get me wrong, I'm not mad, I love the guy. He done what he thought was right. I said something, hey, look, get the hell out of this, it's not your argument. Get out of here. He reached up and me shot right in the side of his head. Now it's my argument, he said. That takes a lot of nerve. Now it's my argument.
He and his brothers, and his brother, they used to get into it up there, at the racetrack with all. I remember those guys getting thrown out, suspended, and.
There's another guy I was looking for in here.
What are you looking for?
I was looking for Ronnie Stanko. Did he got anything on?
Yeah, well, he would have come along a little later.
Yeah.
Because this ends in '65, and Ronnie would have been a little later.
Yeah.
But hey, tell it for the camera. What do you know about Stanko?
I just when you stopped, the guys were wild. Remember that night they rolled somebody's car over and set it on fire?
You're kidding.
Yeah. I don't remember what all the story was.
Well, they got blamed for it. Let's say that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've since heard who really did it.
Oh, okay, good. They got
blamed for it.
Yeah, they got exonerated then, huh?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that Leonard ever found out who really did it.
Awful nice guy, that little Ronnie.
Yeah.
Awful nice guy.
Were you there the night that Eddie Kisco flipped over and they had the car sort of?
Yeah, I was there that night.
What was that like? Was there kind of a hush in the crowd?
Scared the hell out of all of us when I don't remember who was driving the car to hit him in the top.
Emery, I think.
Emery,
Was it
I
Emery?
think it was Emery.
That must have drove him crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie talked to us about it a little bit. He said there was a car parked up near the fence, and he said back then, they didn't stop the race.
No.
He said if a car broke down, you just kept on going.
Up to a point.
Until it got really bad.
Yeah.
He said this car is parked up on the fence, and
I remember.
you ran into it?
No, I don't know. I don't remember that.
Okay.
I don't. That must have devastated Emery, because Emery was what a very emotional man.
Oh.
Yeah, he worried about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time at Erie, I got a picture of it somewhere. It was on the front cover. My front bumper's right up, touching his steering wheel. I'm on that little bronze Camaro I have.
Wow.
And he jumps out of the car and comes over and worried about me. And I thought, my God, but that's the kind of guy Emery is, or was.
Was there a time when you were in an accident that you said, "Oh my God, what am I doing in this business"? Was there any sort of? I know you got to be somewhat fearless, but you were actually fearful.
A lot of times I questioned my own judgment, but no, the only time I ever was. I broke my back up here on the Stateline, and I questioned what the hell I was doing there then.
Right.
And
Did your wife ever ask you to stop racing, Floyd, or?
she didn't. She wasn't too happy with me. She knew better.
Okay.
And what a sweetheart she was.
Yeah.
I've been wandering around the dark for the last 3 years.
Tom Dill, aggressiveness. Was he as aggressive a driver as you had out there on the track?
Who?
Tom Dill.
I say he's nuts. No, Tommy wasn't that bad. I've waited for him up in the corners, waited for him to come, and took him down by the flagpole a few times. His wife.
He wouldn't do anything like that.
No,
would he?
no. Well, I remember one night over the area, I'm sitting up there. He took me out in a I had to get qualified. And he took me out in a consolation race or something. My wife used to sit with Big Red as one of his wives.
Oh.
He's been married 15 times so far. But anyway, don't get mad now. But I sat there waiting for him to come around. And my little Norwegian told Red, she said, Tom and I are close, real close. And he finally pissed him off. He told me. And I did. I caught him. I got him. No, don't get carried away now, he said. The only way you got by Tom is when he'd get it broke loose, like you were talking about Dean, get the ass end hanging out, then you shoot underneath him, shut the door so he couldn't come off the corner without hitting you. And the only way you got by him. And one night at Erie, I don't remember what happened. I was leading the race, he was leading the race back and forth. And finally, I shot it underneath him and I run about 2 laps. It was one of them nights where everybody's lead broke down or something. Anyway, I've got by him that probably the same that way. He come running over. No, we're no longer friends, and I ripped my. Good. Now I won't feel bad when I wrap you right between the eyes. Now don't get carried. Anyway, we both laughed. Oh, God almighty.
These are great.
But nothing was ever vicious.
Yeah.
If there was any arguments, they only lasted a few minutes and it was gone the next day.
Yeah.
Floyd, you really lived through the evolution of the sport from Leon, Pennyroyal, where you basically had field cars, the back ends cut off, and bedsteads for hoops. You went from that era all the way up to bought chassis, built motors.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate that I was able to do that. Go from that stuff up to the super lates and stuff, and I was very fortunate to do that. I don't think there's too many people that can say that.
No.
I don't.
That's what I mean. You've got a unique perspective on the sport.
And them were the most fun of all of them super lates.
Oh?
To me, they were. They were quick and they were responsive, and you see, one thing about driving a race car, you sit in the front straightaway or back straightaway, and they look at them going, geez, look at them damn guys, they're flying. My God, they're really. But you get in a race car alongside them, and you go by them. It seems everything seems to slow down. You don't really realize the sensation of speed. It's I found myself many times doing that down at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway down there. I'd run down there quite a lot. And the first time I went down there, I said, holy smokes, look at that. Wow, I don't want to do that. And get right in the car and go out by them, go right on by them. So and then my God, they're not going fast enough. What are they doing? Mm-hmm. Getting back to the funny things at Stateline, that one of the funniest things that ever happened to Stateline was Bob Dietrich. Remember Bob Dietrich?
Yes, I do.
He was funny. He was goofy.
He was an announcer.
Yeah.
Greg. He was an announcer.
Remember him?
Yeah, I remember the name.
I'm out there leading a feature one night. Leonard fired him. I'm leading a feature one night, and he always had that cup in his hand. He thought it was pop, or it was pure vodka. He's sipping on. He said, look at that son of a bitch go. He said. Leonard fired. Can't understand why he done that.
Is he still alive anymore?
No. He come to Alzheimer's. Last time I seen him, I left him up to Greenhurst Inn. We sat up there. He was so bad, and